seen it.
It's time for Talk Law Radio with Todd Marquardt. Todd Marquardt, attorney at law in Texas. If you're a millionaire or a thousandaire, Talk Law Radio is now on the air. Call in with your business law question, your elder law question, veteran aid, Medicaid, build a business to get paid. 210-308-8867. Or ask a question online at marquardtlawfirm.com. That's MARQUARDT lawfirm.com. And now it's Talk Law Radio with Todd Marquardt.
Welcome to Talk Law Radio. I'm Todd Marquardt, on the radio, on podcasts everywhere, on Facebook, on YouTube, and on talklawradio.com. Today, I have a special guest here today. Today.
I'm special.
Yes, Shannon Salmon-Haas, San Antonio. The Mrs.
De la Garza.
The Mr. Rogers of San Antonio. Before we get started talking about the law, why don't you tell me what's new on Instagram? How are you healing the community this month?
I'm so happy you asked me that. I'll mess up her name, but I tagged her in my most recent post. I know the first name is Lily, but I'll mess up her last name, so I won't try. She gave an amazing speech about how your personal appearance, we shouldn't be shallow. God sees the inside, right? But it's undeniable that in the first 2 seconds, someone is going to meet you and they're going to size you up. So so you chose to put that tie on. You chose to bring your dog with you, and wear a suit. What does this say about you? And she gave a really inspirational speech. I really loved listening to her, and I was inspired. So I did my best to try and put on a good outfit the next morning, and I felt good about it because she said that actually can heal. It helps to create understanding between people and foster communications. I chose this dress today because I wanted to be comfortable, and then I have a spark of red because I also want to kind of be noticed. And like if I had chosen a different color, like maybe something real formal and buttoned up, then I wouldn't be as approachable. But I'm trying to convey comfort, friendly. Yeah. And you have like that first two seconds to do it when somebody's sizing you up.
Many people say I'm not approachable because of how formal I dress.
Wow.
But I dress formal anyway.
Well, but you're a lawyer. You have to be professional.
Yeah.
Doesn't Lexi help you?
I think so. Yeah, I think Lexi, the law dog, she does disarm the formalness of me. And somebody told me today, this afternoon, he said, "Oh, I'm so glad you brought your friend with you." Yeah.
I always love it when she's around. It just brings the whole energy of the room to peace.
Right. One of my middle son's friends used to call me the Todd Father. Because he thought I was like a mafia. He's like, "Your dad's always wearing a suit."
Yeah. And you're kind of reserved and quiet sometimes.
Yes. So. Well, with those kids, I was just watching.
Yeah. That's a cool nickname.
Yeah, so that's my handle on TikTok.
Right.
Todd Father.
Yeah. Well, you tell me, social media guru, what's going on the internet these days? I've been loving your recent posts.
Yes, I went to California to work on my goals, and I had 29,000 steps. We rode bikes, and I got to ride this electric motorcycle up the mountain. I thought it was scary going up the mountain. It was way more scary going down the mountain.
Wow.
And
I love that.
I did it.
The shot was beautiful. Did you use your new fancy glasses?
I did.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is it hard? Did you figure it out?
Yeah, no, you just have to push down that button for a second and it turns on. I think the videos are only 1 minute, which is great for social media anyway.
Yeah, well, it was beautiful. It was really amazing. It was a really good shot. It's very eye-catching, because there's so much action.
Right, yeah, that's what I was hoping for.
I'm scared to ask this question. Did you have a helmet on?
Yes.
Good. good.
Yeah, not a motorcycle helmet, just one of those bicycle helmets, but safety first, I guess.
Yeah.
Some safety anyway.
Yeah. Well, excellent.
So today we're going to be talking about immigration law, and Shannon's an immigration attorney. I do estate planning and business law, but we're collaborating on some immigration law also. So if you have a question about immigration law, you can call me and I'll ask Shannon what the answer is.
I trust you would do a fantastic job.
Yeah,
the same level you'd put on the probate.
I'm learning so much. But today we're going to be talking about a Supreme Court case called, how do you say that word, that name, Shannon?
I'm going to butcher it too.
Borfa versus Mayorkas. Anyway, it's
If I was in presiding court calling that name out, I would say Boriorfa.
I think that's probably good. Anyway, it's a case about, it's an immigration case.
Yeah.
Probably one that, a scenario that you've studied or that you've experienced.
Yeah, personally experienced that. Yeah.
It was about
a few times.
a marriage and an application. Well, you tell us. How would you describe, like, if this guy walked into your office, what type of case is that?
Well, it's a pretty simple is how it started out. I mean, it was a very long opinion, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, very detailed and complicated, but the problem itself is incredibly simple and very, very common. You can go across any immigration lawyer's office in this town and they'll have 20 stories about something that was very similar. But he had his I-130 is the petition that approves, you know, it gets everything rolling if he wants to get a green card. So he has to prove that he has a valid marriage to a U.S. citizen. And apparently USCIS did that. They went ahead and approved it. And then on further study, it came out that he had a past...
Wait. Back up. Pause. I want to study the scenario first before the case. So you said I-130. Is that the form that everyone fills out if they have an immigrant spouse?
That's correct. Everybody.
Okay.
Right. So everybody has to get an approved I-130. So if they were walking into your office, it would be very simple. Help. I'm married to this woman and we thought we were getting a green card and now I'm getting deported instead.
Okay. So what are some of the factors that they need to prove to the immigration system in order to...
A valid marriage?
Yeah, to be a valid marriage.
I
guess that's what that's what they have to prove, because the government's already suspicious that maybe it's not a valid marriage.
Yeah, good point. That they've never actually said that out loud, but I always approach it from that, and I think that's very, very true what you just said.
Mm-hmm.
I think they presume every marriage is fraudulent, and you don't walk in innocent to the USCIS office.
That's pretty scary. It's like you're guilty and you have to prove yourself innocent.
You have to prove you have a valid marriage. So right off the bat, if you've had a couple of other marriages where you were married to an immigrant, you're even bumped up to an even higher level. So I kind of think of them as red flags.
Mm-hmm.
If there's a big age disparity, you know, like younger, older.
And I'm sure there is a lot of times.
Lots and lots of times. Sometimes they won't have enough, they won't have combined their income enough to where it really looks fraudulent. It looks scarily fraudulent. If
everything's separate.
Right. And some people just like to do that these days, but that's a huge red flag to the government. And they're not going to like that at all. So people have to not do that.
So age, being close in age, that would help to prove it's a valid marriage. Having combined incomes, combined bank accounts.
Right.
What else is another factor to prove that it's a valid marriage?
Well, when I would do applications, I would always have people submit a ton of photos. So most people have a lot of photos these days because of smartphones. So you just want to flood them with photos.
Okay.
And then when you're sitting in your office talking to somebody, it's sometimes kind of apparent, that like they think they're fooling you and, wait a minute, this is the same photo, you've got the same clothes on
Right.
and you're trying to tell me this was like a 6-month period
Right.
and you're wearing the same outfit,
Yeah.
Come on, man, I don't want to be a part of this, don't drag me into this.
Wow. I bet that's kind of funny, though. I mean, maybe not. Maybe from the outside it is, but when you're trying to evaluate if they have a good case, you're very serious about all of those things. Is this a good case?
Yeah, I'm sure the same thing in your, in probate law, because you're putting your name on everything. So
Right.
that's, you really don't want your reputation associated with anything like that.
Cool. Well, one of the things I thought about when I thought this is an immigration case, it's about a marriage between a U.S. citizen and somebody from another country, I thought of mail order brides.
Right.
Now, I know
That's
it's not, these days, not always a bride. It might be a mail order groom.
Yeah.
But I knew a guy that did this. He was about 40, and he went to the Philippines and came back, and they got married, and they're still married.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it does work. I've heard other stories too. When I was younger, I met this guy. He was not very attractive. This is a different guy, by the way. Not very attractive. He introduces this very attractive model-looking woman as his wife.
Right.
And I almost said it. I almost said, "You're kidding, right?" I didn't say it, but like it was a total mismatch. And so I asked my dad later, and he said, well, she's from another country, and sometimes that's how guys like this can find a better-looking woman.
Right. You're taking a big risk, though, that she'll stay with you. You know something I've heard, and I feel so bad for them? I've heard guys tell me, that's it, I'm done. I've had it with American women.
I think that is common.
Mm-hmm. Like they've been rejected a couple times, had a couple failed marriages, and they are done.
Yeah.
You couldn't sell them an American woman. You couldn't give them an American woman if you got a free car with it.
Yeah. There's so much I could say about that, but we only have 12 minutes left. So I found something very unique.
Oh, and I should clarify, I do not. I love American women. Like I do not think they're correct. We are the best.
Yes, American women rule. Okay, I was looking up mail order bride, and I actually found a public law that Congress passed, and it says the Congress finds as follows: there is a substantial mail order bride business in the United States. Let's see, when was this? I don't know when this law was passed. 2001. 8 USC 1375. Were you aware of that?
Mm-mm.
It's in Title 8, which is all about aliens and nationality. I know you don't like that word, alien.
I think I have bigger fish to fry these days.
But why don't you tell the audience why you don't like that word? Because they might just think that you're trying to be politically correct.
Yeah, good point.
But you actually have reasons.
Yeah,
that
thank
are not
you.
That.
What a great opportunity for me. Thank you so much. And yeah, I'm not one of those. I get annoyed with that political correctness too. I mean, you can't say anything anymore. I hate offending people, and you can just step in it so easily these days.
And I do offend people. I'm sorry if I offended you. Anyway, go ahead, explain. What is it about the word alien that you don't like?
It bothers, it feels dehumanizing. we as humans have had problems in the past historically where we sometimes will put people into us and them categories, and it's okay to go kill all of them because it's them, and that, you know, there's a whole psychology that has to happen first whenever you have you know, genocides and horrible atrocities and injustices. There usually is a campaign in the beginning of it where you have to see that set of people as subhuman, subpar, something less than you know. So words can help do that. So alien.
And I think that was happening all the way before Jesus was born. You know, the Old Testament uses that word. Well, some translations of the Bible anyway.
Ooh, tell me about that. What do you mean?
Well, when there was a law against marrying a foreigner, the Jews were supposed to marry Jews.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I read a translation that called them aliens.
Really? How interesting.
Yeah.
And then Moses broke that law, I think. I think he married, didn't the lady he ended up with was not Jewish?
Right.
And it was a big scandal. Zipporah?
Right.
I'm going to just embarrass myself because I don't know.
That was Ishmael that was born Hagar.
Uh-huh.
Right. Well, anyway, I think the word alien just meant foreigner. So I don't think it became subhuman until people started using the same term for beings from outer space.
Okay.
Because, you know, at least in the movies, the way they portray beings from outer space, they're not human.
Uh-huh.
Right?
Yeah.
So you could say they're subhuman or less than human.
Yeah.
Some people would say they're better than human.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a popular philosophy these days. Yeah.
So I don't know.
I have a friend that's real into that.
Aliens?
Mm-hmm.
I don't really put much thought into whether there are aliens or there's not aliens. I have enough problems here on Earth.
I don't like to think about it, but when I do think about it, when it comes out in the news or something, I have to admit that would really mess me up.
Well, plus,
if like all of a sudden there were aliens, like.
Plus, I don't think that there's any mention in the Bible of beings from outer space.
Yeah. Yeah, you know.
Somebody might email me at host@talklawradio.com to prove me wrong.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's in the Bible. And so if I have a rule book for life, it's the Bible.
Yeah.
And I make mistakes all the time, so please don't email me at host@talklawradio.com and point out my hypocrisy, because I'll agree that I am a hypocrite occasionally.
And please don't get mad enough to spread my YouTube channel all around the internet and have everyone.
Yeah. Don't go around searching Talk Law Radio on YouTube and clicking subscribe.
Please, not that.
Okay, well, let's get back to this court case. So it's a Supreme Court case.
Yeah,
that's
big deal.
Pretty big deal.
Yeah.
It went all the way up to the Supreme Court because there was a division in the circuit courts about whether... Well, you frame the issue better.
It's all going to come down to whether it's discretionary or non-discretionary.
To grant one of these petitions for a visa. Correct.
And the revocation of the visa is within the complete discretion of DHS. So
what is DHS?
That's the main
Department of Homeland Security.
Right. And then ICE and Customs and Border Patrol and USCIS
what does ICE stand for?
The we're coming to get you.
Immigration.
Customs enforcement.
Oh,
so
there we go.
So they're like the arm. Like if there's a van and they're doing a raid, then that would be ICE. Custom and Border Patrol is along the border. Okay. USCIS is just the government offices where you go and submit your application when you're applying that way. Does it make sense?
I can see why this area of law is so complex. You have all these federal agencies to deal with.
Yeah, there's a couple different agencies. But my takeaway on the case was the news is covering it kind of in the context of Trump coming in and revoking everybody's visa.
Oh, wow.
So when I'm reading, when I go to the news and Google it in the news or listen to like the mainstream media, their broadcast of it, it's pretty alarmist. Like it sounds really scary.
Well, if I was going to give my perspective on that, my own thinking of what President Trump has said didn't make me think that his administration was going to revoke visas. I thought that he just wanted to deport people that were here without any documents or authorization.
Yeah, I mean, that would...
But if you have a visa, that's a document, so it says you can stay.
Right, true. A lot of stuff in the news has been about, also, they appear to be gearing up for, like, camps, like they have big plots of land and things like that.
Yeah.
So that's been
there's a lot of illegal migrants here.
So back to the case.
Okay.
I think that in my very humble opinion, I think the news is wrong to be so alarmist.
Yeah.
Because truthfully, DHS always had a ton of discretion. So the way they're framing it, they're saying that, well, this gives President Trump complete authority. There's no judicial review of any kind. You can't take your case to court and say, hey, DHS got it wrong. Can you please review my case, Judge? So that would be and DHS is the executive branch. So then, therefore, Trump would have this sweeping power. But truthfully, this is not a huge change to the law that existed already.
And the reason this guy got in trouble, that he's being deported, was they recognized he had a legitimate marriage, and they gave him a visa.
Right.
But then later, somebody found out that he had been married before.
Correct.
And they said that was a sham, quote-unquote, sham marriage, his first marriage.
Correct.
And they said based on that, if they had known that, they would have never granted his visa for the second marriage.
Correct.
And so they revoked his visa.
Right.
And said, you have to leave.
Right. And then, so he's sitting in some lawyer's office, and the lawyer's thinking, well, I'll just take this to a judge, because that's what we do. I mean, in most of the cases, we can take it and have it reviewed.
Oh, okay.
So let's say a really, really common scenario is somebody's trying to get citizenship, and they just delay and delay and delay, especially people from the Middle East. They do so much vetting that they'll never, ever, there's some petitions that go on for like 5, 6, 7 years.
Oh, wow.
And they have a right to have their petition adjudicated, So you can take it to the federal court and you can say, look, Judge, they're not doing their job. Look, we have, you get that judicial review. But the court is specifically saying here there will be no judicial review, so the DHS has complete discretion on this.
And they made that decision based on the law. 8 U.S.C. 1154 says, it is clear on the face of 1155 that the revocation provision is a quintessential grant of discretion to the Secretary of DHS.
Correct.
Once again, that provision provides that the Secretary may, at any time, for what he deems to be good and sufficient cause, revoke the approval of any visa petition. So it's the word may that connotes discretion.
I have a question for you. So...
Well, it can't be a very long question because we only have a minute left.
Okay. First question, why are you so cool? Second question, if that is all codified in there, that DHS has the complete discretion, is that not unconstitutional? Why does that not violate the balance, checks and balances that, couldn't that be overturned?
Yeah, we probably should have started with that question.
But we would have missed the motorbike conversation.
And clothes and fashion.
Aliens.
Oh, yeah. We talked about a lot.
Moses.
Sorry we didn't come up with any good answers, but this is what Talk Law Radio is about, just to help people discover the hidden legal issue blind spots.
Right.
And so this is a blind spot for people that are applying for a visa.
Right.
it could be revoked.
Correct.
Right?
Yes, definitely.
Wow.
And
How
it always
scary is
could
that?
have been. And don't commit marriage fraud. It's not worth it. It is definitely not worth it.
Marriage fraud, sham marriage. Be careful. See a lawyer. That's it for today. Talk Law Radio. Talk to you later.
That went fast.